Lia Carter stepped off her ship, the Starfire, onto the bustling platform of the Galactic Council. The air was thick with tension. Colorful lights flickered overhead, casting shadows on the diverse assembly of species. Her heart raced as she absorbed the sights. Around her, creatures of all shapes and sizes spoke in a cacophony of voices. Some were humanoid, others were not. Bipeds with shimmering scales rubbed shoulders with tall, insect-like beings. The floor vibrated beneath her feet. A low hum pulsed through the chamber, charged with electricity. This was the heart of the galaxy's politics, a place where species gathered to discuss their fates. In the center, a debate raged. The Drakeans, a powerful apex predator species, dominated the discourse. Their eyes glowed like embers. They were large and imposing, their sharp claws glinting in the dim light. They spoke of a rogue species threatening the balance of power. Tension crackled in the air as they gestured wildly, their voices rising in anger. Lia felt small among them. She was human. The thought nagged at her, but she pushed it aside. She had a job to do. Her mission was to represent Earth. The fate of humanity could hinge on her actions today. Then a hush fell over the chamber. Zephyr, a Zephyrian diplomat, floated into view. His translucent form shimmered, reflecting the bioluminescent panels adorning the walls. He was an atmospheric being, made of gas and light. Zephyr's presence commanded attention. He began to demonstrate his species' wind-based technology. With a wave of his hand, he summoned gusts of wind. They danced around him, flowing like water. The council chamber transformed into a whirlwind of color and sound. The air crackled with energy, and Lia felt the force of the wind rush past her. She marveled at how Zephyrians used their environment, displaying a beautiful harmony with nature. Suddenly, the Drakeans unleashed a show of strength. Their wings unfurled, and they soared above the crowd, releasing bursts of lightning. Crackles of electric energy echoed, filling the chamber with a deafening roar. Lia watched in awe as the apex predators showcased their aerial prowess. They were fierce, confident, and utterly commanding. But in their display, she also sensed something else: fear. The Drakeans held an unspoken worry. They were apex predators, yet they feared what they could not control. Their attention shifted, glancing toward the Zephyrians, and then ever so briefly to Lia. In that moment she felt their gaze. The apex predators underestimated her. They saw her as weak. Their instincts told them humans were lesser beings. A flicker of determination ignited within her. She was not here to hide. She was here to show them what humanity could withstand. As the meeting continued, the chaos of the council faded into the background. She soaked in the sounds, the rushing wind, the crack of lightning, and the low murmurs of other beings. It was a symphony of power and uncertainty. She understood then that this was a test. Lia's mind raced with thoughts of humanity's place among these remarkable beings. Earth had its challenges, but humans were survivors. They had faced extinction before. The storm wars, the great collapse, and now they stood on the brink of something new. Her resolve solidified. She would champion human resilience and creativity. Lia envisioned the galaxy not as a battleground, but as a web of opportunities. The apex predators towered above her, but she saw potential in every being present. They all brought unique perspectives and skills. The question was how to unite them. As the council debated further, Lia's eyes wandered over the assembly. She noticed the intricate designs of the alien technology around her. Bioluminescent panels pulsed softly, casting a calming glow. Smooth, crystalline structures jutted out from the walls, reflecting the chamber's frenzied energy. It felt alive, almost sentient. And yet, all she could think about were the predatory instincts surrounding her. The Drakeans circled like wolves, calculating and fierce. They saw strength in size, in force. But what did that strength mean when faced with the unpredictable nature of humanity? Lia felt a strange calm settling over her. As she stood among giants, she remembered the stories of Earth's past, the courage of explorers, inventors, and dreamers. These were not lofty tales, they were the very essence of humanity. With each passing moment, Leah's confidence grew, and she steeled herself for the challenges ahead. She would unveil humanity's spirit in the heart of the council, where fear, power, and pride clashed. As the debates resumed, she prepared her mind. The real battle would begin soon. The galaxy needed to see what lay beneath the surface of humanity. What they found might just change everything. The air crackled with tension. Lia Carter stood in the Galactic Council chamber, feeling the weight of hundreds of eyes on her. The chaos from earlier still echoed in her mind. The apex predator species had loomed over her, their confidence hanging thick in the atmosphere. She recalled their fierce posturing. They believed humans were weak. But now, the meeting had reached a critical point. The leaders of the apex species were locked in debate, their voices rising like a storm. Just then, a sudden gust of wind swept through the chamber. It rattled the translucent structures above. Lia inhaled deeply, the scent of ozone tingling in her nostrils. A storm was brewing outside, mirroring the tension inside. Lia clenched her fists, trying to steady her racing heart. She thought of Earth, she thought of her people. Humans had always faced storms. They had weathered them with resilience. As the Zephyrian diplomat, Zephyr, continued to argue for their kind, she squared her shoulders. She would not let fear overwhelm her. Then the storm intensified, rain lashed against the crystalline walls, creating a symphony of sound. The apex predators shifted uncomfortably, their instincts kicking in. They were hunters, used to controlling their environment. But here nature had turned against them. A flicker of uncertainty crossed their faces. In that moment, something shifted in the room. The predators, once so sure of their superiority, hesitated. Lia felt their eyes darting toward her. The doubt gave her strength. She took a step forward, grounding herself in the chaos. The soft hum of the chamber faded into the background. With every heartbeat, she focused on her breath. It was steady, it was calm. The predator's eyes narrowed, intrigued. They sensed something in her gaze. It was a depth they had not expected. They had scanned human brains, searching for weaknesses. Instead, they found a fire, a fierce determination that could not be measured. Lia met Zephyr's gaze, her resolve shining like a beacon. She could feel the energy shift in the room. The predatory instincts of the apex species were now tempered by curiosity. They watched as her calmness radiated, even in the storm outside. The wind howled, yet she stood firm. The tension began to weave a new thread. The apex predators whispered among themselves. Lia could not understand their words, but she recognized the shift in their demeanor. They were considering her presence, her resilience. With the sound of thunder rumbling outside, Lia felt a strange kinship with the storm. It was wild and unpredictable, much like humans themselves. She thought of how humanity had evolved through chaos, adapting and thriving against all odds. Each crash of thunder resonated within her, igniting a sense of purpose. As the storm raged on, she tilted her chin up. The once menacing predators now seemed smaller. They were beginning to realize that strength was not only in might. It was in the ability to stand tall amidst chaos. That was humanity's secret. That was their first revelation. The storm began to wane. The predators exchanged glances, their confidence slowly slipping. A whisper traveled through the room. An alien leader stepped forward, his features sharp. He remarked on the unusual familiarity in Lia's gaze. The words were lost on her, but the meaning was clear. They were intrigued by her composure, the strength hidden behind her human exterior. Lia felt a spark ignite within her. She had not just held her ground, she had captured their attention. The apex predators, once so dismissive, were now questioning their assumptions. She had sown the seeds of curiosity. The chamber slowly emptied as the storm subsided. The sound of rain turned into a gentle patter. As the predators filed out, they regarded her with a newfound respect. Lia watched as they exchanged hushed words, their previous arrogance replaced by uncertainty. It was a small victory, but a victory nonetheless. In that moment, Lia felt a shift within herself. She was no longer just a diplomat. She was an embodiment of human spirit. As she exited the chamber, the air felt different. It was charged with possibility. The taste of rain lingered on her lips, a reminder of the storm that had tested her resolve. Outside, the sky was clearing, sunlight pierced through the clouds, casting a soft glow over the Galactic Council. The world felt renewed, fresh like the first breath of spring. Lia stepped forward, ready to embrace whatever lay ahead. She would not let the apex predators define her. Humanity had more to offer than they realized. This revelation would be just the beginning. There was much to learn, and she was eager to share the depth of human experience. The challenges ahead would be steep, but she would face them with the strength of her ancestors. A new storm was brewing, and this time it was one of understanding. As Lia walked through the council's corridors, she felt a pulse of hope. She had ignited something within the apex predators. They were no longer just adversaries. They were now participants in a dance of discovery. As the sun broke through the clouds, it illuminated the path forward. Humanity was not merely a lesser species. They were complex and resilient. Lia smiled, knowing the journey had just begun. She would show the galaxy what humanity could truly be. The council chamber, once filled with chaos, would become a place of unity. The storm had passed, leaving behind a fresh promise. Lia Carter was ready to lead humanity into the light. Together, they would forge new connections. Together, they would change the galaxy forever. Lia Carter stepped onto a strange world, surrounded by the tall peaks of the Drakean mountains. The air felt thick, electric. Wisps of cloud swirled around her, carrying a faint scent of ozone. The Drakeans were waiting. They stood tall, their bodies resembling armored avians, with shimmering feathers in striking blues and blacks. She remembered how the apex predators had reacted to her calmness during the storm at the Galactic Council. It had surprised them, a small human standing firm amid chaos. Now she faced another test this time. The stakes felt even higher. The ceremony commenced in a vast, open arena. The sunlight filtered through the swirling clouds, casting shimmering patterns on the ground. Drakeans began to chant, their voices rising and falling like the wind itself. Lia felt a wave of energy wash over her. She was no longer just a diplomat. She was part of something greater. As the Drakean leader approached her, the crowd hushed. They adorned her with a necklace of bioluminescent beads. Their soft glow filled the air with a warm light. Lia felt a stirring inside her, a pulse of connection. The Drakeans regarded her not as a mere human, but as a mystic. Their awe was palpable. The leader lifted a clawed hand, pointing to the sky. "You are the storm," he proclaimed, his voice deep and resonant. The crowd roared in approval. Lia could hear her heart pounding. The title felt heavy, yet it was uplifting. This ritual sparked a realization in Lia. The apex predators were intrigued by her resilience. They found a unique quality in humanity. She recalled the earlier meeting and how the predators had underestimated her. Now they were recognizing something deeper. Days passed, and Lia traveled to different predator worlds. Each time, she found Drakeans and other apex species welcoming her with respect. The rituals varied, yet the underlying theme remained. They valued her calmness, her ability to endure. As she walked among them, she began to notice more than just respect. On Rethar, a world of swirling winds and fierce storms, the Kael'thar gathered to celebrate their fiercest warriors. They welcomed her with a feast. Fires crackled, sending embers into the night sky. The scent of roasted meats filled the air. Drakeans and Kael'thar mingled, laughter echoing. She felt humbled by their warmth. They shared stories of battles won. She listened intently, absorbing their tales of bravery. But when she shared a memory of humans standing up against oppression, the room fell silent. They listened, they leaned in, captivated. Lia felt a warmth spread through her. It was the warmth of connection. Each world unveiled another layer of human resilience. As she spoke of unity in struggle, the predators nodded, understanding. They began to question their assumptions about humans. They saw that beneath the skin and bone, they shared a spirit of tenacity. On one planet, she met the Othari, a species known for their fierce independence. They challenged her directly, asking why humans fought back against seemingly insurmountable odds. The question hung in the air. She found the answer in her heart. It was simple: survival, hope, and the desire to protect loved ones. The Othari listened, their eyes wide. They began to see humanity as more than just a weak species. They saw a spark of courage and determination that resonated with their own warrior spirit. Each meeting bridged gaps, building a shared understanding. In the distances, the sounds of storms approached. The winds howled as dark clouds rolled in. It was a reminder of the chaos that once ruled the Galactic Council. Yet here they stood, the apex predators and a single human, united against nature's fury. In these moments, she realized she was not just an ambassador. She was a symbol of unity. The predators and humans were not so different after all. They were connected by shared experiences. The Drakeans felt this connection, embracing it. With each new world, Lia became more aware of the patterns forming. The apex predators, once confident in their superiority, began to question their views. They were discovering that human resilience was not a weakness, but a unique strength. The understanding evolved from curiosity to respect. In the quiet moments, as she gazed at the stars from a rocky cliff, she reflected on her journey. The vastness of the galaxy filled her with awe. Each star twinkled like a beacon of hope. Humanity's past, its struggles and joys flowed through her like a river. The predators began to refer to her as the storm, not just as a title. They recognized that storms create change. They shake foundations and clear the air. Humanity's spirit was that storm. It could reshape the galaxy, bringing peace and understanding. As she prepared to return to the Galactic Council, she felt the weight of her role settle on her shoulders. She was no longer just representing humanity. She was a bridge between worlds. Her heart was steadfast, filled with hope. Humanity had the potential to inspire and uplift even the strongest of beings. With each step back towards the ship, the whispers of the Drakeans lingered in her mind. They had become allies, united against all odds. Together, they could face the unknown challenges ahead. Lia understood that the path forward was not just about survival. It was about thriving together. The galaxy awaited, the storms were brewing, and she was ready to face them. Humanity's spirit shone brighter than ever, a beacon of resilience in the darkness. The chamber hummed with energy. Lia Carter stood among the Zephyrians, her heart racing. Today was different. Today, they would share memories. The Zephyrians had developed a technology that allowed them to connect minds. With it, they could experience the essence of humanity. A translucent pod stood in the center of the chamber. It glowed softly, emitting a blue-white light that danced like fireflies. The Zephyrian diplomat, Zephyr, gestured towards it. Lia felt a mix of excitement and fear. What would they feel? She stepped forward, taking a deep breath. The air smelled of ozone, sharp and clean. Lia placed her hands on the cool surface of the pod. Zephyr joined her, his bioluminescent skin shimmering. The pod hummed, resonating with their thoughts. A gentle breeze swirled around them, lifting the edges of Lia's hair. Her mind opened like a book, memories flooded in, vivid and bright. She saw a child in a war-torn city, scared but unyielding. The weight of uncertainty pressed on the child's shoulders, yet courage burned in their eyes. The Zephyrians gasped, their expressions shifting from curiosity to awe. They felt the child's fear, the resolve to survive. The scene changed. An old woman sat on a porch, hands weathered but strong. She tended to a garden, nurturing each flower with care. The Zephyrians sensed the warmth of compassion. They felt the bond between the woman and the earth. It was a connection they had never known. Suddenly, the memory shifted again. A soldier stood on a battlefield, bullets whistling past like angry bees. His heart raced, but he pressed on. He fought not just for himself, but for those who could not fight. The Zephyrians exchanged glances, their fluid minds processing this new information. They began to understand, then came a moment of deep despair. A family gathered around a small table, heads bowed in grief. The loss hung heavy in the air, thick and suffocating. Emotions surged, overwhelming the Zephyrians. They felt the sorrow as if it were their own. In that moment, they recognized a strength in vulnerability, a resilience born from pain. The memories continued, weaving a tapestry of humanity's journey. They witnessed laughter in the face of hardship, creativity amid chaos, and love blooming in the unlikeliest places. Each scene was a testament to the human spirit. With every memory shared, the Zephyrians' perception shifted. As the experience ended, Lia pulled her hands back. The chamber was silent. The Zephyrians floated, their luminous bodies dimmed. They appeared almost ethereal, taken aback by what they had witnessed. Zephyr broke the silence. "We underestimated you," he said, his voice soft, filled with respect. "Your resilience is unlike anything we've known." Lia felt a sense of triumph. She had shared the essence of humanity with them. The Zephyrians had seen both strength and vulnerability. They had felt the power of human emotion. This was no longer a simple exchange. It was a shared understanding. A low hum echoed through the chamber. The Zephyrians began to illuminate, their lights flickering with excitement. They buzzed with energy, whispering among themselves. They were processing the revelations. They recognized that the roots of humanity ran deep, tangled with survival and adaptation. The air changed, charged with a new energy. Lia felt it too. The Zephyrians had crossed a threshold. No longer did they see humans as lesser beings. They began to see them as partners, capable of overcoming great challenges. The bond between species shifted from one of contempt to one of respect. Lia watched as the Zephyrians gathered around her, their translucent forms glowing brighter. She could sense their thoughts swirling like the winds outside. They were fascinated, eager to learn more. Each Zephyrian viewed her as a bridge to understanding humanity. "Your memories are a gift," Zephyr continued. "We will share them with others. This will change perceptions across worlds." Lia's heart swelled with pride. This was what she had hoped for. The barriers that once separated them began to dissolve. The Zephyrians had opened their minds. They would share this new understanding with their own people. As they departed the chamber, the air felt lighter, charged with possibility. Lia walked alongside Zephyr. "What's next?" she asked, curious about their plans. "We will discuss what we have learned. We will forge new alliances," he replied. "Your kind has much to offer," Lia smiled, a glimmer of hope igniting within her. Together, they could face the unknown. With every revelation, they grew closer. The seeds of a new alliance were sown, ready to flourish in the vastness of space. Lia left the chamber, her mind racing with thoughts. The Zephyrians had embraced the beauty of humanity. They understood that beneath the surface lay something extraordinary. Humanity's spirit, forged in the fires of struggle, was now recognized across the stars. As she stepped outside, the winds swirled around her. They carried whispers of change. Together, they would navigate the storm ahead. The galaxy was vast, but for the first time, Lia felt they could emerge as partners. They had crossed a line. The world would never be the same again. In the heart of chaos, Lia Carter had found a way to connect. She had shown the Zephyrians that humanity was more than it seemed. They had discovered the resilience woven into human memories. And with that, the path to unity began to unfold, one memory at a time. The chamber buzzed with urgency. Lia Carter stood tall, her heart racing as she surveyed the room filled with apex predators. A new threat loomed over the galaxy, a force unseen and unknown. It shook the very foundations of the Galactic Council. The air crackled, thick with anticipation and fear. The Zephyrians, with their flowing forms and glowing wings, hovered close. Zephyr, the diplomat, radiated anxiety as he shared the news. An ancient predator from the depths of the void had awakened. Their power was immense, unlike anything the galaxy had seen. They struck without warning, leaving destruction in their wake. Lia's mind raced. She recalled how she had earned the respect of the predators with her steadiness during the storm. Now was the time to use that trust. She stepped forward, her voice steady. With each word, she weaved a tapestry of hope and determination. The predators listened, their sharp eyes focused on her. "We must unite," she urged. "Human creativity can guide us. Together, we can find a way to fight back." The room fell silent. The previous rivalry among the species became an undercurrent, almost forgotten in the face of this new nightmare. She saw it in their eyes, a flicker of understanding. Lia felt their fear, their uncertainty. She had stood before them as a mystic, as a symbol of resilience. Now she could be a leader. The Zephyrians shared their knowledge of atmospheric manipulation. They could create storms, bend winds to their will. The Drakeans, fierce and proud, offered strength in aerial combat. Lia sensed the synergy, the potential in their collaboration. They could combine their abilities. It was humanity's chance to shine. The plan took shape quickly. Lia envisioned the battlefield. She could almost feel the wind whipping against her skin as she spoke. "We will create an aerial battleground," she explained. "The Zephyrians will summon the storms. The Drakeans will strike from above. We humans will devise strategies, anticipate the enemy's moves." As they prepared, Lia felt the weight of the task ahead. With every step, her mind buzzed with tactics. She sensed the energy in the chamber, a mix of determination and fear. The Zephyrians glowed brighter, their bioluminescent panels reflecting their resolve. The terrain around them shifted, pulling them closer to confrontation. Days passed in a flurry of activity. Lia worked tirelessly, drawing on every resource she had learned from her journey. She remembered the scenes the Zephyrians had shared, the memories of humanity's struggles, the stories of creativity in dire moments. She drew strength from that legacy. Finally, the day arrived. The coalition stood ready. The council chamber transformed into a command center. Lia felt the pulse of anticipation around her. They gathered to face the looming threat together. As they launched, the ships flew through the atmosphere, sparkling in the blue-white light of the Zephyrians' creations. The battlefield erupted, clouds swirled as the Zephyrians summoned storms. Winds lashed out, whipping through the skies. The Drakeans soared, their wings slicing through the air like arrows. Lia directed them, her voice calm and clear. "Now strike as one." She commanded. A roar of energy filled the air. Lightning flashed, illuminating the dark void. The coalition faced the monstrous predator, a twisted amalgamation of shadows and strength. The creature roared, unleashing its fury. But it had never seen such unity. Lia watched in awe as the coalition moved as one. The storm, the aerial maneuvers, the strategic brilliance, they came together in a breathtaking spectacle. The predator faltered under the relentless assault. The ground quaked with each clash. In that moment, something shifted. Lia realized that humanity's greatest power wasn't just in their strength or strategies. It was their capacity to inspire, to connect with others in ways that transcended mere survival. She felt the pulse of life, of hope, moving through each being fighting beside her. Together they unleashed a final strike. The predator reeled, caught off guard by the combined forces. Lia, standing at the forefront, felt the energy surge. She reached deep within herself, drawing on her memories, her resilience, and creating a beacon of hope. With one last push, the predator fell. Silence enveloped the battlefield. The coalition breathed heavily, hearts pounding. In that moment, victory wasn't just theirs, it was shared. As the dust settled, the chamber echoed with a new understanding. The apex predators looked at each other, and then at Lia. They no longer saw humans as lesser beings. Instead, they recognized equals, partners. Humanity had stood against the storm and prevailed. Lia breathed deeply, feeling the weight lift from her shoulders. The journey had transformed not only her, but the entire galaxy. Together, they had rewritten the narrative of strength and resilience. The stars above twinkled with promise. The galaxy was vast, and now humanity had a place in it, as equals among the great. In the wake of battle, Lia felt a spark of hope ignite within her. This was just the beginning. Together, they could face whatever challenges lay ahead. And in that unity, they would find strength together. Lia Carter stood in the grand hall of the Galactic Council, the air filled with energy. The once hostile chamber now buzzed with excitement. The recent battle wove new threads into the fabric of the universe. The Zephyrians and the apex predators had forged an alliance with humanity, transforming the landscape of their relationship. Colorful banners adorned the walls, symbols of collaboration. The echoes of victory still lingered in the air, a reminder of their shared struggle. Lia felt the warmth of a newfound respect. She had shown bravery and ingenuity, proving humanity's worth. The predators, once looming figures of power, now regarded her as an equal. Lia smiled, her heart swelling with pride. She recalled the moments that led to this change. The fierce storm that had raged during her first negotiation, how it had revealed her resilience. Then, the mental exchange that allowed the aliens to glimpse the depths of human spirit, compassion, creativity, and the will to survive. Those moments had shattered barriers, igniting curiosity. Now, the Zephyrians floated gracefully, their bioluminescent bodies shimmering with a blue-white glow. They celebrated along with the apex predators, weaving through the chamber like living ribbons in the wind. The beauty of their organic technology complemented the vibrant energy of the gathering. It was a sight to behold. The council members engaged in animated discussions. Their voices mixed, creating a symphony of ideas and dreams. Concepts of shared exploration and resource exchange filled the space. The boundaries that once divided them were fading. Instead, a vision of a unified galaxy took shape, filled with promise. Lia stepped forward, her presence capturing attention. She spoke not with grand speeches, but with her actions. She held the hand of a young predator, a gesture that sparked a ripple of connection. It reminded everyone present they were not so different after all. The air was rich with scents of unknown fruits and spices, a blend of cultures. As laughter erupted, it rang with joy, not fear. In that moment, the alliance came alive. Lia knew this was just the beginning. Together, they would explore the stars, navigate challenges, and create a legacy. A legacy forged from the depths of human spirit and the brilliance of newfound bonds. With each heartbeat, humanity's place among the stars solidified. A new chapter began, one written in unity and respect.